Hello everyone. Ned here. In this video, we are going to discuss family systems theory. The first assumption is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Individual and family behavior must be understood in context. A family is a goal-seeking system. A family is self-regulating and self-reflexive, continually influenced by feedback. Family systems are defined by their communication. The locus of pathology, the problem, is not within one person but is a system dysfunction. The first concept is a system. Systems are defined as any set of objects that relate to create a super-entity. Self-reflexive means that a family thinks about itself. Cybernetics are the ways families correct themselves. Family roles are recurring patterns of behavior. In addiction, these roles include the victim, who is the one with the addiction, the chief enabler, who is emotionally closest to the victim and is the protector of the family hero, the perfect child, the scapegoat, the child that gets the problems put upon, the mascot, the clown of the family, and the lost child, the child who is forgotten and ignored. Hierarchy is the arranged delegation of power. Boundaries distinguish the environment from the system and affect the flow of energy and information. Energy is simply just new information or input, typically from outside the system. Entropy is transitioning from order to disorder. The Joker would be considered an entropic character. Family rules are repetitive behavioral patterns. Meta-rules are rules about making the rules. Like, do mom and dad have the final say in what happens? Feedback is a response a family member makes to behavior. Feedback loops are the continuous cycle of inputs, rules of transformation, outputs, and subsequent inputs. Positive feedback loops are about change. Negative feedback loops are about maintaining the status quo and resisting change. Input is the information coming into a family. Output is the information leaving the family. Punctuation is not about periods and commas. Rather, it is where we intervene in a feedback loop to cause changes to the system. Equifinality is when any punctuation leads to the same result. A transformation process is when the input is being changed into output. Morphogenesis is the transformation process that changes the form or shape of the family system. A first-order change is superficial and doesn't change anything for long. Like how the first order in Star Wars doesn't last long, a second-order change is profound and changes the system for a long time. Homeostasis is the same thing as equilibrium, which was addressed in the previous video. The set point is where homeostasis is. Circular causality is when there is not beginning or end to behavior. Think of an Ouroboros loop and how we can't determine what caused what. Circular causality is the same thing as reciprocal determinism. Linear causality is where we know the cause and effect of a behavior. The identified patient in the family is the one who bears the symptoms of the dysfunction. They are typically the scapegoat. A double bind is when two commands contradict. Family cohesion is family closeness and emotional bonding. Family flexibility is how adaptable the family is. Mutuality is when everyone is accepted and loved in a family. Dysfunctional families are when they do the best they can with what they have, but they don't talk about problems, they don't feel or express their emotions, and they don't trust each other or anyone. There are three main critiques for this theory. The first is that it is more of a model or flowchart than a theory. The second is that it is too global and abstract. The third is that too many people consider the system a reality, rather than a guide for what to change. The movie example for this theory is Coco. We learn the context for the family's behaviors and rules in the first few minutes of the film. We see Miguel, who is the identified patient, struggle to implement a positive feedback loop to his family's perception of music. His abuela implements a negative feedback loop by destroying his guitar. Their cycle seems to be that they hold a grudge against the missing grandfather. Miguel wants to be a musician. His family pushes back against that idea, and then Miguel brings up that his grandfather was a musician. The family tries to punctuate this cycle by preventing Miguel from being a musician. The film ends when Miguel punctuates the cycle at the grudge against grandfather Hector. That's it for this video. The next video will be released in about a week. We will discuss conflict theory. Remember to lend a hand to those who need it. Bye guys.